Good afternoon. We'd like to welcome you to this presentation by Dr. Ava Barrett on delicious foods that are good for you. And Dr. Barrett is a U.S. citizen, but she was born in Jamaica. She's an experienced professional and has degrees, master's degrees, both in library science and public administration, as well as a doctorate in organizational leadership. Boy, could I learn from her. She's also, more importantly, a trained medical missionary. With her husband of 43 years, Clifford, she's a proud mother of 4 sons and grandmother of 9 children. She's very passionate about healthful living because she's personally experienced what its practice can do for one's health, as am I experienced with that. Saved my life too. She's been teaching the health message here in the U.S., but also in Canada and Jamaica. Her greatest desire is to be used by God to help others for the coming of our Lord, whether through one-on-one contacts or through group presentations such as this. She recently developed a nonprofit corporation for the express purpose of helping other nonprofit organizations that may need help in successfully serving others. Ava loves the Lord with all her heart and prays that this presentation will be beneficial to all, as do we all. And may we start first with a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, thank you for blessing us with the health message that we get to hear in our churches. Bless Dr. Barrett as she presents, and may your Spirit speak through her. May we learn and have our lives changed to be more like you. In Jesus' name we ask, amen. Thank you. Dr. Barrett.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a singular pleasure to be here this afternoon to talk with you about delicious foods that heal. Everybody loves food, right? Anybody here that doesn't like food? Let me see your hand if you don't like food. That's not true. I know you're not speaking the truth. My husband just said something to me outside. Someone said, do you know this guy? And I said, I don't think so. He said, you're lying in the sanctuary. So God is good all the time, isn't he? And in his goodness, he has made for us not only these bodies that take us through till we die, but he has given us the foods that we need that will help us to be healthy and strong. And we know that the world that we live in now, the devil has taken the foods and he has corrupted it, and he has twisted things, and he has made things in such a way that things that were once acceptable to our palates very often are not acceptable anymore. We want other things. We want fries, and we want the coated chicken, and we want this, and we want that. But God has intended that our bodies should be healed in a particular way. Our bodies should be kept lively, should be kept going in a particular way. So today I am here to talk with you about some of those wonderful things that God has for us. First of all, I want us to remember that there is a connection between health and salvation. Do you agree with me? You agree with me? I know that for a fact. And there is a passage that comes from 3 John 2, which confirms this. Read with me. Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prospereth. This is God telling us that he wants us to not only prosper, but be in health. And God has a reason for wanting us to be in health, Not only so I can run and jump and skip and do all the things I want to do, but so I can serve him. If I am not healthy, then I can't serve him the way I really should, can I? If I'm healthy, the healthier I am, the easier it is for me to be able to go over and help my neighbor. The easier it is for me to be able to even help my own self. So God wants us to be healthy. But it has something to do with our salvation as well. Here is how God communicates to us, and this confirms it for us. God communicates through us through what? Through our brains. Through our brains. How else could he communicate with us? He has to speak to our brains, right? When he speaks to our mind, we say, sometimes you do something wrong and you feel badly about it. Where do you feel that? Is it in your heart or in your brain? Where do you feel it? It's your brain. It's your brain. Your brain says to you, you've done wrong, but that's God speaking into your brain. It says here, the brain nerves, which communicate with the entire system, and we know about that because the whole musculoskeletal system has nerves running through every part of it. And that's why you're able, if you touch something hot, you jump back because your brain tells you it's hot. So the nerves are running all through your body. The brain nerves, which communicate with the entire system, are the only medium through which heaven can communicate to man and affect his inmost life. Whatever disturbs the circulation of the electric currents in the nervous system lessens the strength of the vital powers, and the result is a deadening of the sensibilities of the mind. Sensibilities of the mind. What do we mean by sensibilities of the mind? Anybody? Sensibilities of the mind. What do you think that means? Anyone? Thoughts, emotions, actions, right? Sensibilities of the mind. How sensible is the mind to detecting, to understanding what's going on around us? Okay, so the brain is the organ and the instrument of the mind, and it controls the whole body, as we said before. In order for the other parts of the system to be healthy, what needs to be healthy? The brain. If your brain is not healthy, your whole body gets affected. In order for the brain to be healthy, however, what do we need? We need good blood. We need to have good blood. How do we get pure blood? From good food, right? Correct habits. Eating and drinking the blood is kept pure through this, and the brain will be properly nourished. So, let's take a look at the brain. The brain is the house. For the brain to be healthy, the blood must be pure. And see, we have a picture of the brain. I don't know if this is a pointer. It's not a pointer, is it? Is it a pointer? I don't. Woo, I have power. There you go. That first part of your brain is called what? Okay, I'm pointing to my picture. This is about me. It's not about you, right? I'm sorry, I'm joking. Sorry about that. I totally got turned around. Okay, so here, what's that part called? The frontal lobe. Everybody knows the power of the frontal lobe, right? What happens in the frontal lobe? All your thoughts happen here. It's the executive functions that take place here. When you want to plan, when you want to organize, you want to problem solve, you want your emotions, behavioral control, even your personality. All of that takes place in the frontal lobe. What else? Look at this one. The motor cortex, movement. If anything goes wrong in here, your movement is affected. And what about this part? the sensory cortex, sensations. That's how you're able to feel hot, cold. All your sensations are managed right in here, in that portion. Parietal lobe, the perception, making sense of the world. Those who are mathematically strong, your parietal lobe is firing, it's kicking. Those who are able to do all these academic things, you're very smart. That's where that happens, right in the parietal lobe. And then there's the optical lobe. I'm having trouble managing this. The optical lobe. So when you see, the occipital lobe has to do with your vision. So when you see me, what is happening is that the image is being thrown back by your nerves to this section of your brain, and it interprets it and it says, that's Dr. Barrett up there. That's your occipital lobe. And then there is the temporal lobe, where memory, understanding, and language is managed. So the brain is the house for the mind. That's where all of these things happen. Is it important for us to have a good functioning brain? It is. And again, the only way that can happen is if we are treating it right. And we treat it right by what we allow to get there. The brain only functions because of the blood that goes through it. And if the blood is not pure, then all of this stuff up here, all of this stuff here gets messed up. All of this. Things happen there. There are other things that can cause it to get messed up. But food is very, very critical in what happens with your brain. Okay, so God has a plan. God has a plan, and we read the plan a while ago in John 3, in 3 John and verse 2. And we know God's plan is for us to be healthy through trusting in Him, through making sure we get open air, making sure we have daily exercise. There is sunshine, there is proper rest, lots of water, temperance, and of course nutrition. So God's plan has 8 parts to it for keeping us healthy. 8 parts. I'm concentrating on just one part today, and that's the nutrition. So let's go through that. So first of all, we want to look at what was God's original diet. And if you go to Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29, we will find it. Can somebody find that for me? Genesis 1 verse 29. Real quickly, Genesis 1:29. What does that say? Genesis 1 and verse 29. You got it? Who has it? Thank you, Maria. Yes, Genesis chapter 1 and verse 29.
In the beginning, 29, I'm sorry. Hold on. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat.
Amen. Thank you. So based on what you just read, we are recognizing that God has different types of foods that we should be eating, and He gave that to us in our original diet. Genesis chapter 1 verse 29. If you ever want to know what God has for you, where do you go? When you want to know what God wants you to do, how God wants you to live, where you go? You remember this? When Dr. Jackson was here, he introduced it as what? The owner's manual. That's the owner's manual. You all have cars here. Is there anybody here who doesn't have a car? Let me see if you don't have a car. Okay, most people have cars then. In your car, you have a manual, don't you? And the manual tells you what? How to take care of that car. This is the owner's manual for our body. God is the owner of our body. And in this manual, he tells us how to take care of it. So you just read that very beautifully for me, sister. Thank you so much for that beautiful reading. Now let's analyze what you just read. You probably can't read all of it, but let's see if we can analyze it. Behold, I have given you every herb. What is a herb? It's a plant without a strong, woody stem or trunk, okay? And those herbs bear seed. And these are generally understood to mean your grains, such as the wheat, the oats, the corn, rice, and all of that. And then there are seeds that are also part of this group, such as your sunflower seeds and your pumpkin and your sesame and your flax and others like that. Those herbs also include your legumes. So soybeans, kidney beans, you know, all those beans that we love, including peanuts and other foods containing seeds, some of which we call vegetables, such as eggplant, bell peppers, pumpkins, cucumbers. All of these are herbs because they are plants without a strong woody stem or trunk. And then, in addition to those, he also gave us what? Trees. Every tree or plant with a strong woody stem, such as a shrub, a bush, or just a plain old tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. And what are those? This is generally understood to mean fruits like your oranges. Oranges are grown on trees, right? Lemons, cranberries, apples, pears, all of these. And of course your nuts like your almonds and your pecans and cashews. All of these are on that. So that's the diet that God gave us. Do you think it's sufficient? It is sufficient. The problem we have now is that the earth is so depleted. The problem we have now is that there is so much use of fertilizers that are harmful. There's good fertilizers and bad fertilizers, right? There's so much harmful stuff that's going on. But, say that? GMO, thank you. Genetically modified organisms. It's messed up. But God is still saying, primarily, this is how he intended us to eat. So that's the analysis right there. So today, my focus, however, is not on all of that. My focus today will be on just fruits and vegetables. And I won't do all fruits, all vegetables, but we'll be doing some specific fruits, some specific vegetables. All right, so I'll start with fruits. What are fruits? What are fruits? What are fruits? Fruits? What are fruits? All right. So fruits are the best and the most natural source of vitamins. We know fruits. Tell me some fruits. Tell me the names of some fruits. Watermelon. Huh? Mangoes. Apples. Grapes. Okay. Kiwi. That's one of the most powerful fruits. Did you know that? Kiwi? Oh, yeah. Kiwi has all kinds of nutrients packed in it. So, say that again? Blueberries, that's right. So fruits are the best and the most natural source of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and thus they are most healthful. So here are some fruit facts for you, which you probably can't see very well. Let me see if we can help you here. So here are the apples, avocados, bananas, and look at how many calories you get from each. You get 130 calories from eating one apple. But you see all the other things that you get from it? You can't see it? Okay, so how much sodium can you see how much sodium you're getting from it? 0. Zero. Zero sodium. Is sodium good for you or bad for you? Huh? Too much. You need sodium. We all need sodium in our bodies. I'll tell you a quick story. My mother-in-law is hypertensive, and the doctors told her no salt. So she was on a no salt diet, no salt at all in anything. And one Sabbath she was sitting in church and she fell out. And they took her to the doctor, emergency room, and they ran tests. You know what was her problem? No sodium. So guess what they have her doing now? She's taking salt tablets. Does that make sense to you? I say just add a little salt to your food. Then you get the sodium. But when you eat an apple, there is no sodium in it. So you don't need to worry about that if you're hypertensive, right? So no sodium. But it has how much potassium? 260 dV. That's a percentage of what you need for your daily intake. 260% of your potassium could come from one apple. Is that awesome or is it awesome? What do you say? Is that awesome or is it awesome? I think it's awesome, really awesome. Let's look at the avocado. How much potassium do you get from avocado? 140. And again, it has no sodium. But there are other things there too besides potassium. Total carbohydrate, dietary fiber, sugars, protein. Did you think that you got protein from apples? Yes, you do. 1 gram of protein per 1 apple. And you get the same thing from your avocado. Vitamin A, 2% vitamin A from your apple. Vitamin C, there's vitamin C in apples. So you see what I'm showing you here by this chart is that God has equipped these fruits with the nutrients that are necessary for our bodies. Would you agree with me? If you agree with me, put your hand up. Praise the Lord. Yes.
Would you please explain what the function of potassium is?
Oh my.
In relation to sodium and why we need potassium.
Why do you need potassium? Anybody wants to tell me? Why do we need potassium? Huh? For your heart to pump. The potassium is so important. If you don't have enough potassium in your body, they do a blood test and they find that your potassium is too low, they're going to give you potassium pills. You know why? Because if you don't have enough potassium, the electrical current of your heart is diminished. It is what helps that heart to be functioning, to be pumping. Very important. It's a good question. I like that one. Thank you. Very nice. Any other questions on that one? Any other questions on that slide? Okay, so let's go to the next slide. And the next slide talks about general benefits of fruits. So what are some of the benefits that you see here? You already know a lot of the benefits, but I just kind of pulled some of them together here. So fruits have more preventative and healing properties than any other food. And when I came across that, I was like, wow, I didn't even know that. I didn't. I am from Jamaica, and we have a lot of fruits. Most of the fruits we have in Jamaica are sweet fruits, most of them. There are a few sour ones, but most of them are sweet fruits. And you know what? I ate fruits like you eat candy. You know, when you children eat candy, I ate fruits like that. I didn't think of fruits as something for nutrition, something to keep me healthy. I didn't think about it that way. You're passing a mango and you pull a mango off the tree and you eat the mango. It wasn't your meal time. It wasn't, you didn't eat fruits because it's meal time and I put 5 servings of fruit on the table and stuff. Is there any other Jamaican in here? Am I lying? Is that how you ate fruits too? Did you think about it like in terms of, okay, so I can only eat 1 mango, I can only eat this because I need 5 servings? No, we didn't. We ate fruits like children eat candy now. That's how we ate fruits. But listen to that, huh? Oh my, don't even talk about coconuts, of course. We drank that water, we ate the flesh of it. Oh, it's awesome, really nice. Anybody ever had a real coconut? You love coconuts? I love coconuts. Oh my word, you just said one of my favorite things. Yes? You wanted to say something? You love coconuts too, very good. So,
And the natural coconuts, the garbage they have here is no good.
it's awesome that you said that. You know why? Because what they're selling in the stores now, the coconut in the can, they've added so much sodium to it. It's a shame. But the natural one, if you can get a natural coconut, you're pretty close to getting to heaven. My thought. Okay, so fruits have more preventative and healing properties than any other food. Some nutritionists call each piece a true natural medication. True natural medication. When we were in Jamaica eating up all these foods, we didn't think we were eating medicine, did we? I didn't, but we were being medicated. Woohoo! Just think about that. So, eaten fresh, a fruit is a living food in which the chemical reactions that constitute life continues. Somebody explain what that means. What does that mean? Eaten fresh, a fruit is a living food. What do we mean by living food?
It's not cooked.
It's not cooked. When you cook food, what happens to the nutrients? A lot of them die because some foods have water-soluble vitamins, some have heat-soluble, but when you cook the foods, a lot of the nutrients get killed. But when you eat a fruit, it is still alive. So, eaten fresh, a fruit is a living food in which the chemical reaction that constitute life continues. Chemical reaction? Did you know that your whole body is a chemistry lab? Did you know that in order for that food to make your brain work the way it should, some chemical reactions have to take place? You knew that, right? You just kind of took it for granted. I did too. We take it for granted, don't we? That when we eat the food, this is what happens. We just swallow the food and not think about it. But when we do that, what we are actually doing is allowing the life that's in the fruit, in the food, to go into us live. These enzymes are alive and everything is alive. And so it can have the reaction and provide the body what it really, really needs. Fruits never generate toxic residuals in the body, such as foods of animal origins do. And I'm apologizing if I'm offending anyone. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just speaking truth.
Probably because you're not re-eating the food.
We're not reheating it.
Eating.
Re-eating. Oh, I got you. I got you. You heard what my brother said? He says, it's probably because we're not re-eating the food. You got it? When we eat the animal product, what you're doing is re-eating the food. The animal ate the food, and now you eat the animal, so you're re-eating the food. Never thought about it that way. See, I'm learning from you guys. This is awesome.
Now, what you've just said, isn't this the way it used to be? When a cow was needed to eat, they put it in the field where it ate the grass. And then people liked the cow, and so they were getting the thing second-hand. But today, many cows are not eating grass. They're eating our chickens, for instance. I call them chicken concentration camps.
Ooh.
Is that a true statement?
It sounds kind of true to me.
What are they fed?
What are chickens fed now? Do you know? What are chickens fed?
It's really unpleasant to mention. And the same with cows.
Anybody knows?
So
They're provided the food that they get for the most part.
what I don't like, I turn on 3ABN or one of the channels, you know, and they say, oh, these are the animals it's okay to eat. I say there is no animal, I don't care if it's a cow, a goat, a sheep, a lamb, a deer. Well, deer live in the wild, of course. But these animals, they're not as they were in the beginning. I think they're all as unclean as the pig.
Oh,
Now,
okay. So you're expressing your own opinion,
no,
and that's
not
fine.
really, because of what they said. Now, if you tell us what they feed to cows, which is almost not worth mentioning in this place,
Yeah.
you know, it's pretty terrible.
So you know what? You can't hear him? Oh, the mic is not working, so he couldn't. Okay. But what he's essentially saying is that he's very concerned that before the times in which we now live, one could safely eat a cow, eat the flesh from the cow, all the animals that God called clean, and you would be okay because they were eating what God intended them to eat. But now they are being held in farms where they're fed foods that he doesn't want to mention here, which makes them almost as unclean as the unclean. Is that what you're saying, brother? Okay. Now, we're not talking about clean and unclean foods today. I just don't want to take us off the track. But let me hear what you have to say. He wants to say.
Meat or animal products was not God's original diet.
Well, we just looked at God's original diet, didn't we? Was there anything in there about a cow?
So why would it make it better then than now, other than it's worse, but so is all food worse?
Okay, so just for real quickly, we know when God gave permission for meat to be eaten. We know when that happened. And if you don't, let me tell you real quickly. It happened after the flood. All vegetation had been wiped out. They had no choice but to eat meat. There was nothing else for them to eat. All they had with them was what was preserved in the ark. And many of you sang the song, the animals went in 2 by 2. That's not true. The animals went in 2 by 2 that were unclean. The animals that were clean went in 7 by 7. So there was a lot of clean animals preserved. And when they came out of the ark, God gave permission. But that was not God's plan for them to stay on it forever. Man chose to stay on it, and you have that choice today. You can choose to go back to the original diet. Do you want me to go back and show you that original diet? You know it. It doesn't have any flesh in it. You can choose to do that, or you can choose to stay where we have been since the flood. Okay? We're not going to debate that today, because I'm focusing today on what? Fruits and vegetables. That's what I'm fruitful. So the last slide here says fruits help to avoid cardiovascular diseases, but above they provide antioxidants which are fighting premature aging, cancer, and other diseases. We're not eating enough fruits, and if we are, some of the fruit we're eating are not prepared the way they should be, and that's why we're having some of the trouble that we're having. Okay, so here are some of the benefits then. I know you can't see it very well, but an apple, what kind of benefit do we get from an apple? It protects your heart. It prevents constipation. It blocks diarrhea. How can it do that? It prevents constipation, and at the same time it blocks diarrhea. How does it do that? How does it do that? Anybody? Fiber, thank you. That's the answer, fiber. It improves lung capacity and it cushions your joints. How? Say that again? What she said?
For my good answer, I want my gold star.
I should have stars for everybody that gives a good answer, right? Next time I'll remember that. Thank you. Okay, now look at the apricots. What do? They combat cancer. Did you know that? Apricots are powerful. They have nutrients in them that are powerful for preventing cancer. Controls your blood pressure. Saves your eyesight. Shields against Alzheimer's. And it slows the aging process. Go home. Go to the supermarket and get yourself some apricots. Slow down that aging process, right? Okay, mangoes. Somebody said mangoes? It's not up there. When I took that chart, I copied that chart from nursing library blog, they didn't have mangoes on it. And I'm like, I should have had mangoes there. But mangoes are powerful too. Mangoes are filled with vitamin A and C. And those are vitamin C and E. I don't remember if there's E in it, but there's C and A. And those are powerful for us as well too. All right, so those are the benefits. Look at your cantaloupe. Saves eyesight, controls blood pressure, lowers cholesterol. So sometimes you have to take pills to lower your cholesterol, right? You know they have a pill for everything, don't you? You know that, right? Well, you can take a pill, a cantaloupe pill. Go eat some cantaloupe and that will help to lower your cholesterol. Those are God-created nutrients in them that will help with your healing process and help you to be healthy. So those are some fruits and their benefits. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look at a delicious fruit that heals. How many people like ripe bananas? Oh, I love ripe bananas. When I was doing my research, they said ripe bananas are the fruits that are eaten most anywhere in the world. I didn't even know that. I thought it was a Caribbean thing. I thought it was a Jamaican thing. We love ripe bananas in Jamaica. We do. And I come here and I see lots of people buying ripe bananas. Do you know how powerful this little fruit is? Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's see what it does for us. Okay. So we're going to look at what is a banana made of. What makes up a banana? First of all, it has protein. Who knew that bananas had protein? So now we're talking about eating meat. Why do we eat meat? Why do people say we need to eat meat? For the protein, right? Okay. We just debunked that one, didn't we? You don't have to eat meat. You get protein. Did you know that you get protein from every single food that you eat, whether fruit or vegetable? Every single one of them has protein. Guess why? Can I tell you why? God made it that way, yes, but what does that God use the protein to do in these fruits and vegetables? What does the protein do? Anybody? Tell me. Huh? It builds. Anything that's living, protein is what it's built on. Because proteins hold everything together. And that's what it does in your body too, you know. Your protein, your arms, okay, so your body has bones and it has muscles, but all of it, it's held together by proteins. That's why proteins are so important. But you don't have to get the protein secondhand. Like my brother here says, you eat, say it again.
Eating meat is you're eating it secondhand.
You're
eating it.
That's not the way you said it. You're re-eating. That's the term I'm thinking about. We don't have to re-eat our protein. We can go directly to the source. You know how many people ask me? I've been vegan for a long time, and you know you get in social situations and you say, oh, I'm sorry, no, it's okay. I'm not going to eat that today or something. And they say, well, why don't you eat it? And I said, well, I'm vegan. And they say, vegan? What does that mean? So I get a chance to explain. And they say, are you telling me that you don't eat any meat? And I say, no. And they said, wow, how do you live? And then I say to them, how does the cow live? And they say, what do you mean? I say, what does the cow eat? That's what they're supposed to eat, right? I say, what does the cow eat? And they say, grass. I say, how does he live? He's just eating grass. I say, how big is the cow? They say, big. I said, and all he eats is grass. And he's getting everything he needs from the grass. Is that a lesson for us, or is that a lesson for us? It's a lesson for us, isn't it? Awesome. God is good. Say that with me. God is good. How many times? All the time. Praise the Lord. So your banana has proteins. It has fiber. It has starch. But did you notice how much percentage? Fiber? 12% fiber. See that? Starch, 25% starch. Do you need starches in your diet? A lot of us are scared of starches. Our problem is not the starch. The problem is the type of starch. Because if you're getting your starch from eating pastries, that's a different kind of starch than the starch that's in your banana. God, have you ever heard of any plant-based food that has pure protein? No? What about pure starch? No? What about pure vitamins? No? No. Why? Because God made them complex. They have a little bit of everything. There is no plant that's pure anything. There is no fruit that's pure anything, no vegetable. Every single one of them has some protein, has some starch, has some sugar, has some vitamins. God made it that way. You know why? Because he knows. Why were these things made in the first place? He made them for us. That's what he told Adam. He says, I gave you this for your diet, to make you healthy. Yes, Sister Leonie. You wanted to say something?
I have a question on your banana.
Put the mic up so they can hear you.
Now can you hear me?
Yes.
I have the question on the banana in this regard. I hear of diabetics who limit their
I'm going to get to
intake
it.
of bananas because of the sugar. Explain.
I'm going to get there. You're jumping ahead of my presentation. Thank you. Keep me on track, okay? Yes. Anybody else has something else they want to say?
Your bananas in the islands are natural. They're not gassed.
You heard what she said? I think my slide jumped ahead of me. But my sister here says that the bananas in the islands are natural. They're not gassed. And that is true. You remember I started off telling you that the devil is messing up the food that we eat? That's one of the things he does. He pumps. Do you know when you go in the stores and you pick up an apple and it looks so nice and bright and beautiful? You know why it looks like that? They've waxed it, but before they wax it, they pump things into it that makes it pop and look real red and shiny, and the wax makes it shiny, and it looks good. When you pick the apple off the tree, it doesn't look like that. Did you know that? Yes. I mean, you're people here who have picked apples straight from trees, right? Yes. And you've seen it. It doesn't look like that, but it's more nutritious. It's not been pumped up with nonsense, with garbage, with toxic things sometimes, and they're not waxed. So we're eating this wax on top of the fruit that we should be eating pure and natural. So yes. Okay, so some benefits of eating ripe bananas. Lowers your blood pressure. You've heard people saying that. How does it lower your blood pressure? Because of the potassium. Very often, high blood pressure is an imbalance between the sodium and the potassium. And because bananas have so much potassium in it, potassium, 422 milligrams of potassium. Did you see that? I mean, the vitamin B6 in it is much larger. There's 22% vitamin B6, which is 0.4 milligrams. But look at potassium, 422 milligrams. It's a whole lot of potassium packed into one fruit. So yes, it lowers your blood pressure. It treats asthma, treats constipation, prevents colorectal cancer, improves your blood glucose levels. And that's what you're talking about, blood glucose levels. We'll come back to that later on.
I only have one issue.
preserves your memory. Yes.
I don't need to lose weight.
No, but you know,
The rest of the benefits.
awesome. But can I tell you something? When you're eating right, and many of us are not eating right. When we're eating right, and you eat the foods that you're supposed to eat in the right quantities, and in the quality that it should have, you don't have to worry about it causing you to lose weight unnecessarily. Your body is built by God to balance. So it will balance itself. And you don't have to say, I'm not going to eat that because it's going to cause me to lose weight. You don't need to do that. God built your body. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. Amen. Fearfully and wonderfully made. And it will balance it. Yes, Sister Leonie. Okay, she keeps holding up her hand, and I keep thinking she's trying to get my attention. So these are the things, the benefits that we get from what? From the banana. Oops, I went too fast.
The other day, and I can't remember who it was, but it was on a Christian station, a doctor or someone said that there is something, and I can't remember what it was, that has a higher potassium level of banana. Can you tell us what it is?
Say that again?
I heard a doctor or a dietitian on a Christian station the other day say, this is not on.
It is on, it is on.
Okay. Say that there is something that has a higher potassium level than a banana, and I can't remember what it was he said.
You know what? I don't remember what it is right now. If you find out, I'm going to give you my number. You call me and let me know, because I don't remember right now. But there are some side effects. Yes. You want me to go back to the other slide? Okay. Oh, she wants me to go through the benefits. Okay, so it treats constipation. We said that already. Prevents colorectal cancer. Improves your blood glucose levels, because if it's low, it will help to bring it up. It preserves your memory, boosts your mood, treats anemia, aids in weight loss, strengthens your bones, has anti-inflammatory properties, improves your vision, treats the hemorrhoids, treats ulcers, and helps to prevent kidney disorders. That's a whole lot of help from one little fruit, isn't it? Okay, now let's look at some side effects. There are some side effects of eating bananas. High potassium levels in those using beta blockers and diuretics. Can you understand that? Beta blockers and diuretics. Who get those? Who? She said, I get it. What do you get it for?
I have hypertension.
Hypertension.
So they keep me using a ripe banana. Because they always tell me that the ripe banana increases the potassium.
Right.
Because there's constant elimination fluid.
Right.
So I have to use that.
Right. So those who are hypertensive, the doctors will put you on beta blockers and on the diuretics. The diuretics, yes.
Beta blocker makes heart to rate down.
Beta blockers help to level out your heart rate. It keeps it so that it doesn't go pumping too high. We have some medical people in here, right? So you know what we're talking about. That's what beta blocker for. When you have high blood pressure, it means that your heart is pumping too fast, right? And the beta blocker helps to slow it down. So that's what they give you that for. However, because the beta blocker also, it helps to generate potassium as well too. And if you eat too much ripe bananas, then your potassium levels can go skyrocketing. So you need to be careful. So you know what? One of the things we talked about with God's plan was what? Temperance. Temperate. What does that mean? Don't overdo things. Be moderate. So don't overeat your ripe bananas. Don't eat 6 ripe bananas in one sitting, especially if you're taking a beta blocker. Don't do that. You get migraines from eating them? Yes. Some people get, yes. So, but there are other fruits. Don't worry about ripe bananas. There are other fruits, right? God is good. If one doesn't work, he has a million others that will work, right? Good. So another side effect, allergic reactions, itching, swelling, wheezing in the throat, and my sister here says she gets migraines. So that's an allergic reaction too. Migraines can be intensified with more than half a banana. Have you ever tried half and see if it helped? You just stay away from it. All right, that's a good thing too. Gastrointestinal distress from the high fiber content of eating too many at once. So what we're talking about here is intemperance. Not your normal eating. It's just intemperance, overdoing it, right? Okay, so now we're going to move to vegetables. Vegetables. What are vegetables? Vegetables should not be considered a mere side dish to the main course. It is quite the contrary. They, along with your grains and your fruits, should be principal elements of a truly healthful and nutritious diet. Why do we say that? When you see the diet plan that's laid out by the FDA, in the center of that, they put as the main thing, what do they put? The protein. They put the protein, and I should have had a picture of that. I'm sorry, I didn't think of it till now. I should have had a picture of how they set that up. Is there anybody here, are you in nutrition? Yes? No? Okay. They put the protein as the center. And we were raised thinking that the main part of your meal is the protein. And so when we have breakfast, what's the main thing we have in our breakfast? We have a protein, such as what? Eggs or bacon or something like that, because we think the protein is the center. But that's not God's plan. That's not God's plan. God's plan is your carbohydrate. And your carbohydrates are your fruits and your vegetables. Why? Proteins don't give you energy, you know. Proteins don't make you go. They just hold the thing together. What makes you go? Your carbohydrates, which are your starches and your sugars. That's where you get the energy to go. And so that's God's plan, for that carbohydrate to be the center. Now your vegetables is part of that plan. Vegetables should not be considered a mere side dish to the main. They, along with grains and fruits, should be principal elements of a truly healthful and nutritious diet. So that's your vegetables. Now let's look at the vegetable chart. Yes, I have a question here.
We were talking about the protein being in the middle of that pie area, triangle. I don't know whether it was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. The government changed that triangle to what it's supposed to be.
Good.
And they had to go back because of the animal people, I suppose, that caused them to change it, because it messed up their income.
And you know that the laws of this land prohibits you from saying anything bad about the animal world. You know that. You guys know that. There is a law that prevents you from being able to say, I'm trying to be careful in saying this. Some years ago, Oprah Winfrey was sued. Do you all remember that story? What was she sued for? She said, I will never eat a hamburger again. She was introduced to the fact that the cows were being fed what? Bad. He said bad stuff. What they were doing, yes, ruminants, that's the word. What they do is they take the, you have the industry, the cows that they're growing, and they don't want to lose on anything. So when a cow dies, they grind that meat up and they mix it in with the feed that they're giving them. So what they're doing is, which is when the mad cow disease came out, And that's when Oprah Winfrey got in trouble, because she was investigating the mad cow disease and she found out what they were doing. They were mixing the meat in with the food that they gave to the cows. So essentially they cannibalized the cows. They made the cows into cannibals. They were eating themselves, which prevented them from being clean. And so when she heard that, she made the statement, and she was sued by the agricultural industry. And I don't know exactly who but she was sued because there is a law that prevents us from being able to say, and that's when I realized this thing is so organized by the devil himself. He has it all locked up, he thinks, but God is helping us to know differently so we can behave differently. I see a hand at the back, Maria.
I just wanted to comment on the charts that we all grew up with of how many portions of meat and vegetables and all of that. Those charts, if you ever looked at the lower corner of them, are always produced by the Meat and Dairy Council.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes?
This week in the news, it is going to be a new law they are trying to pass to take the word milk from vegetable, like from almond meal, soy meal, because the dairy products, they have been losing so much business with all this, you know, coconut meal, almond meal. So they are trying to take the word meal if it is not a real milk.
Wow.
From cows. So yeah.
So you won't say almond milk. What will you say? Almond something. It's okay. We don't care. If they take the word milk off, let me tell you something. We are hung up on drinking milk. Why? Because we were brought up thinking that we have to drink milk. Do you have to drink milk? No, you don't. It's a myth.
Milk's for baby cows.
Cow's milk is for baby cows.
And only until
they're a few months old. Did you notice that in the animal world, which species continues to drink milk for the whole of their life? Only human beings. Why? Cats don't have their little kittens drinking milk even when they're grown cats. Dogs don't do it. Horses don't do it. Cows don't do it. Not even cows do it. Human beings. You know why? Because we were taught that milk is so important. And guess what? If you're drinking cow's milk, I'm not trying to trouble your milk, but I'm just telling you, go look at the composition of that milk. That milk was intended for the baby cow. And you know why those baby cows grow big so fast? Because the molecules in the milk is so large, and it's intended by God to stimulate growth real fast. And guess what human beings do? They duplicate those molecules and they pump it into chickens. So the chickens grow real fast because the whole world loves a chicken, right? We want chicken, 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 chicken. Our little children, they feel they haven't eaten until they've gotten some chicken. And so they're pumping all this stuff into the chickens to make them grow fast. We don't need it, brothers and sisters. We really don't need it. So I'm going to go back to the chart. All right, back to the chart. Okay, so asparagus, 20 calories. Calories from fat, how many? 0. Did you notice all of those vegetables? How many calories from fat? 0, except sweet corn, which gets 20 calories from fat. But is that bad fat? Only because they have messed up the corns. You know they've messed up the corns. I heard someone say recently that it's extremely difficult to find a real corn because they have genetically modified almost every corn.
Thanks to Monsanto.
Really?
Yes. they're the main company, Monsanto, in producing this, non-heirloom stuff.
Wow. So somebody out there is working overtime to mess our foods up. That's what that is. Now look at the other stuff that we get from these vegetables. We get potassium. And you see the large amount of potassium? Your potato has the most potassium, 620 DVs, milligrams. See that? 620. 18 DVs, 620% of the potassium you need you can get from potato. So there you go. You asked about something that had more potassium than the banana. That would be the potato. Okay? Now let's go to the sugars. They all have a lot of sugar. Is that frightening? Is that frightening?
It's God's sugar.
It is God's sugar. Thank you. It's God's sugar. It's God who placed that sugar in them because you need it. And it's not simple sugar. It's complex carbohydrate. That's what it is. I'm getting all my questions right here.
Is that 9 grams of protein for an onion?
For an onion, let me look. Onions, you get 45 calories. You get 9. No, it's 1 gram. Yes, 9 grams of sugar. 9 grams of sugar in an onion, 1 gram of protein. That's a lot. That's a lot. A gram is more than a milligram, of course. So if you get in 1 gram of protein, you're getting protein from it as well. You notice everything there has protein? Look at that. You see that? And they have large quantities of protein too. When you get to a gram, it's a big amount. Have you ever read the labels on your food? You read your food labels, right? And they say milligrams, milligrams, and when they say 1 gram of sugar, you say, oh, that's too much sugar. It's okay if it's God-made sugar. But if it's the refined sugar, then you're in trouble. And a lot of us use refined sugar. Maria, there's a hand back there. A lot of us use refined sugar, which is messing us up more than any of these sugars. These sugars will never mess you up unless you overdo it. That's the only time these sugars will mess you up, if you overdo it. If you stay with it the way God made it, you are good to go. Yes, ma'am.
I was just going to make that point. The more raw food we eat, the lower the calorie count is, because that God put the enzymes in it that will help to digest it. And so that's why there's 0 calories in these things.
Thank you, ma'am.
Eat lots of salads.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Sister,
yes.
We live in Florida, which is one of the main sugar-producing states in the United States. And the sugar producers, if you want to get elected to anything in Florida, you better be on the side of the sugar producers.
I know that.
One of the things that sugar gives us is it messes up the Everglades. And it's been on the news it's been on the news for weeks and weeks now about all this algae and all that filth.
Yes.
It comes from sugar.
Right. And that's refined sugar. We're talking about refined sugar. We're not talking about and those sugars are sugars that God made in the fruit, the cane or the beet, but they have been messed up. This has been refined. So
when the Egyptians ate sugar cane, it was good because it was jam-packed full of nutrients.
Right. The juice.
They started messing with it.
Right. Right.
That's where we are today.
That's right. Okay. Any more questions on this chart? I'm going to move on. So, on our next chart, some general benefits of vegetables. Can you see that? General benefits of vegetables. Let me help you. So, one benefit right at the top here is that it provides nutrients. Vegetables provide nutrients that are lacking in fruits, grains, and nuts. So, in other words, God built the food so that they complement each other. So what you don't get from the fruits or the nuts or the grains, you will get from the vegetables. So they complement. Then Vegetables are rich in minerals. They reduce arterial blood pressure because of the high potassium content. Are you noticing something? Potassium is turning up in a lot of things, isn't it? Yes. Right? Okay. Anti-anemia is what vegetables are. They facilitate the production of red blood cells. Why do we need red blood cells? Why do we need red blood cells? Good blood. It's good blood, but what makes it good? It can go around, but what's in it? What's in iron? Iron, oxygen. The blood, did you know that the blood is the transport system of your body? So when you eat the food and it gets transformed chemically into the nutrients that your body can absorb, what carries it around? The blood. But the red blood cells in particular, anemia. When you have anemia, what does that mean? Huh? It means your iron is low. Your iron is low. How do you help to build the iron in your body? By eating your vegetables. There are lots of vegetables that have high iron content. One of them is beet. Beetroot, that has high iron content. A lot of the cane does have some too, yes. Lots of vegetables and some fruits, but mostly vegetables that have your iron in it, okay? All right, here's something else that the vegetables do. Used abundantly, they can contribute to the prevention and treatment of cancer. You know that, right? Used abundantly. High fiber content facilitates increased volume of fecal matter. I thought of changing that. Kind of sounds funny, doesn't it? But what it's saying is eat your vegetables and you will not need to use Dulcolax and Miralax and all of these laxes. Just eat your vegetables, right? All right, what's the next one? Contributes to weight loss by providing a feeling of satisfaction, relieving hunger sensations. So if you eat vegetables first, lady at the back there said eat the vegetables. If you eat the vegetables first, when you get dinner, you know, the nicest part of some meal for some people is the dessert. And some people eat the dessert before they eat anything else, right? But I would like to recommend that you eat your vegetables first, okay? So eat your vegetables, eat as much of the vegetables as you want or that you don't want. Sometimes we want to get to the other stuff. But eat a lot of the vegetables and it will fill you up so much that then you don't want to eat a lot more of the other things that are not sometimes as helpful as they should be.
Salad in particular? Salad?
Salad, yes. Salads are good. If you eat that, and listen, there are some vegetables that you can cook some vegetables. You don't want to cook them. You have steamers. If you don't have steamers, get yourself a steamer. You know what the steamer is, right? That's the pot with the bottom and then the piece on top that has the holes in it. So you put the water in the bottom and you put, well, no, you want to cook it. Oh, I guess you could cook it in a strainer, but you put a little, that's a good idea. You heard what she said? She doesn't have to get a steamer. She just simply gets a strainer. She puts a little water in the pot, bottom of the pot, and then she puts the vegetable in the strainer, put it over it, and then cover it. And she got herself a steamer. The only thing is when you have the steamer, it actually closes down. So the steam is held in there and it cooks it. So your water-soluble vitamins are not washed out in that water. If you actually put your vegetables in the water to cook it, may I suggest you drink the water? Or use it in your soup, okay? All right, good. Uh-huh.
I bake my vegetables, by the way. I cook all my food. I just put it on a plate and put it in the oven and bake it.
And that's a good way too, as long as they're not over-baked.
You know, My question to you is, you talked about a salad.
Mm-hmm.
Address the fact that, to me, iceberg is worthless, so you got to go to the other two, either spinach leaves or the other
Okay,
lettuce.
so later on we'll talk about vegetables and we can look at the colors. Iceberg is white. It gives you some nutrients. It's just not a whole lot. It gives you some nutrients, but it doesn't give you as much as maybe the romaine will give you. So yes, I agree with you. All right? I have two people back there keeping me on track. So the last thing here is it produces calcifying action and has an anti-carcinogenic effect. And we've said that already. It's anti-carcinogenic. It helps to rid your body of carcinogens. Your vegetables will help to do that. All right. So we're moving on to the next slide. And here we talk about the colors, the benefits per color. Did you notice how colorful these vegetables are? God is awesome, isn't He? He put colors in these vegetables, and He put them there for a reason. There's a good reason. Your green vegetables, what's in them? They contain, can you see that? They contain lutein, and that's an antioxidant that does what? Reinforces improved vision. They have potassium, vitamin C, vitamin K, and folic acid. So every time you eat a green vegetable, start thinking potassium, vitamin C, vitamin K, and folic acid. That's what your green vegetables do. And that's where that lettuce that you're talking about, romaine would be in this class, but not your iceberg. Iceberg lettuce, you can almost do without, because you'll get that from something else. There really is more water. It's more water filled than anything else, your iceberg lettuce. But your green, and you see how the world is messed up? How often you hear that there are problems with romaine lettuce? So often. It's the devil. He knows that's the best one for us, so he messes it up. So just be careful. And then look at the orange ones. Orange. Orange, what are they rich in? They're rich in beta-carotene and vitamin C, and they help to promote excellent vision, healthy skin, and they support a strong immune system. Look at what's in here. What is this? That's one of my favorite vegetables. That's your what? Pumpkin. That's a squash, right? It's from the squash family. And there are your carrots. And then there are those red ones. The red ones are rich in phytochemicals like lycopene. And I have to take my time to say this one. Anthocyanins. Probably pronouncing it incorrectly. But they improve your heart health and diminish the risk of cancer. What's it? What's this one? That's your tomatoes. And what are these? Radishes. You see that? Very nice. Now look at the purple one. Rich in antioxidants and phytochemicals. And they are anti-aging. They reduce the risk of cancer and support mental clarity. What are these? Eggplants. And these are? That's your purple cabbage right there. Look at the white ones. Rich in phytochemicals, potassium, and help to reduce cholesterol levels. And they lower your blood pressure and prevent diabetes. What's this? That's celery. Those are celery. Kind of looks like celery sticks, kind of. I kind of thought also, I wasn't sure about this one. I got it from this place, Women Health Report, and I think these are leeks. They look like leeks to me. Anybody like leeks? Yeah. I love leeks. You know, you can use leeks in place of onions. Yeah, very nice. Good, 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 good. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So our next slide, we're going to talk about a delicious favorite vegetable that heals. Yes?
Red peppers, green peppers,
Mm-hmm.
the orange peppers. Does the color go hand in hand with this, or because a green pepper becomes an orange and a red,
and you
are
know,
they all in one category?
And you know, God is so wonderful. He's a person of variety. God is a person, isn't he? And he is a person of variety. So you have a variety of peppers. You have red, green, and there are some vitamins in some and some not in some. And when the color changes sometimes, some of the nutrients change as well too. So that's important for us to know. All right, so we're going to look at a delicious favorite vegetable that heals.
The green can go to the green and the red goes to the red?
I don't think it's that cut and dried. Yes, okay. All right, a delicious vegetable that heals. What is that? Carrot. Now, please forgive me. I don't know how this slide got so messed up, but somehow it did. So don't pay attention to the mess up there. Let's look at the picture here we have of a carrot. And this is helping us to see what are the minerals that are in a carrot and what are the vitamins that are in there and how much of what's in it. So first of all, come to the bottom. Come at the bottom here. Let me see if I get that. Down there. The carbohydrates. You see how much carbohydrates there are in a carrot? 9.58 grams in one carrot. 9.5. That is so awesome. You can get a lot of energy from a carrot. One carrot. Your carbohydrates is what gives you your energy. Look at this. Protein. There, you see again? Even though it's a carrot, it has protein, right? 0.93 grams. How much fat? 24 grams. So it's not one of those you need to worry about. No fats from it. Hardly. So 41 calories is what you're getting of energy. Now let's look at the vitamin side. What vitamins do we have from a carrot? B4 and B3 and E. Did you know you got vitamin E from a carrot? Huh? No. Vitamin E is important for what? Hormonal balance. Hormonal balance. Your vitamin E's are very important for that. And a lot of us women, vitamin E is what our bodies need, especially when you're going through menopause. You need to watch that vitamin E, right? Okay.
I can't resist this.
Uh-huh.
My dad got shot one time.
Uh-huh.
And the bullet went from here and up to here. And they dragged him to the hospital. He said, I'll be at work the next morning, which he was. But he blamed his fact that he could work the next day because of vitamin E.
Wow. How is that?
That's just what he said.
You can't verify it. That's what your dad said.
I know he got shot.
He got shot. He was able to go to work because he thinks he had enough vitamin E in his body. Okay, that's a good one. All right, so what else do we have in the carrot? Vitamin B6 and 5. What is B5? B5 is pantothenic acid. B6, B1, B2. Let's go to the minerals. We have potassium, we have calcium, phosphorus, calcium, magnesium, iron, zinc, and manganese. So there is a whole lot of nutrients in one carrot. Okay, now we are going to look at the benefits, some health benefits from our carrots. What do we get from carrots? There should be a D there, please forgive me. Improved skin. It will help to, well, let me put it this way. Carrots help to improve your skin texture, your condition. It helps to make your skin healthy. That's what that means. It helps to improve your kidney function. And it's because of the nutrients that's in it that it helps to improve the kidney function. It helps to improve digestion. It improves your liver function. It maintains a healthy heat. Healthy heat? I think that should have been a heart, H-E-A-R-T. Maintains a healthy heart. Do you want to maintain a healthy heat? No. You want to maintain healthy heart. So guess what you just found out? You just found out that I am human. And I made a mistake. Please forgive me. It should be heart. Maintain a healthy heart. It reduces incidences of stroke as a result. It's antibacterial and viral. It's great for our eyes. You know, we always hear, eat your carrots, right? So that you can have good vision. It gives healthy teeth, and it's anti-cancer. A lot of juicing goes on. When we develop cancer, one of the things that's used to combat that cancer is juicing with the carrots. We know that, right? Okay. Now, let's look at some side effects of too much carrots. Did you know there were side effects to eating too much carrots? Oh, yes. It makes you appear to have jaundice. It's not that you're jaundiced. It's just that it gives that appearance. So, skin discoloration or carotenemia, that's just the carrot manifested, the color is coming out in your skin. It can create digestive problems if you do too much. And as a juice, it's unsafe for children, and that's again if you give too much. Little children, you don't give them a whole lot of carrot juice per se. You want to, everything calls for what? A balance, for temperance and understanding. It can cause withdrawal symptoms, and when I saw that one, I was shocked. It has certain enzymes in it that if you're accustomed to juicing a lot and doing the carrots the juice constantly, and then you stop, your body start giving you the symptoms of withdrawal that people would have if they were hooked on a drug. So you don't want to overdo it. Again, we're talking about what? Moderation. Thank you. That's what we're talking about. Tooth decay over a long period of time. Allergic reactions. It can raise your blood sugar level because it has a whole lot of sugar in it. It can change the flavor of breast milk if the juice is consumed in excess. So all of this is excess. You don't need to worry about this. It's excess. Excess is what this, there's someone at the back with a question.
Which has more sugar, carrots or banana?
The banana has more sugar, I think. Yes.
Okay.
Yes?
I used to juice with the carrots and everything when we first started doing health reform, and I found out that it really affected my liver, and the reason why it does, if you overdo it, is because you're separating the fiber from the sugar.
It's concentrated.
If you want to mitigate that, you have to eat the fiber. You know, that's why it's better to eat the carrot
than to
with
juice
the skin
carrot.
on. You know, just clean them real good and eat it with the skin on.
Yes. Thank you. That's a very good contribution. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Okay, so we're going to move to the next slide. So, now I'm at your place. This is where you had your question. Are you wondering then if you can safely eat fruits and vegetables if you're a diabetic? I don't know how many diabetics are here, but let me tell you, when I was putting this together, I didn't want just to come up here and talk about fruits and vegetables and what they contain and all of that. I wanted to find something that impacts a lot of lives and to see how can we look at it and see how we can get some help from this. And at first I thought cancer, because there's so many people with cancer, and I started working on it from the point of view of cancer. But for some reason, I don't know, I prayed and I came to diabetes. So if you don't have diabetes, it's okay. Just go through it with us, and you can learn something from this as well. So I want to know, can you safely eat fruits and vegetables as a diabetic? And that's a question my brother asked here. And my answer is yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, so here are some reasons fruits and vegetables are good for diabetics. So what's the first one? They are fiber-filled, and fiber is important in managing diabetes. They have a high soluble fiber diet can slow the absorption of sugar and thus control blood sugar levels. And when we eat foods that are deprived of fiber, they get processed real fast because the fiber is not there, the bulk is not there to slow the process down. For example, if you're feeling hungry and you ate a cookie, when you eat that cookie, you feel satisfied real quickly, right? So it pops your sugar level up. That's why you feel, okay, I'm able to go again. But how long does that last? It doesn't last for very long because it didn't have any fiber to it. And after it wears off, what happens? I saw you doing it. You get a real quick, because your blood sugar level goes back down, real low, real fast. So that's what we're talking about here. High soluble, let me see, am I losing my pointer? High soluble fiber diet can slow the absorption of sugar, and in this way it controls your blood sugar levels. Okay, so diabetics, it's good for you to do fruits and vegetables because they are filling, not only with fiber, but also with water. You get water from it as well. Insufficient quantity, they reduce the risk. If you have sufficient amounts of fruits and vegetables, they will reduce the risk of obesity, heart attack, and stroke. So that's another good reason for diabetics doing vegetables and fruits. Obesity is linked to type 2 diabetes, and that's no question, we know that. Nutrients are in high proportion in your fruits and vegetables. At the same time, we have what? Low fats and sodium, so that they're good for your meal planning. And some fruits are high in sugar, but they are still healthy in moderation. Fruits can satisfy your sweet tooth urge. We all get the sweet tooth urge, don't we? But rather than candy and other food with low nutrients, we should go for our fruits and vegetables. So those are some good reasons diabetics should do their fruits and vegetables.
That one we're on obesity, I'm working on this premise.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat nothing but vegetables and fruits and nuts and all that kind of stuff, type of thing, and you've already addressed this, your body adjusts to your proper weight.
Okay.
Will that same principle apply to those that have diabetes, or will they still have a tendency to be overweight? Does that make sense?
You have to remember that overweight is not necessarily from eating the wrong foods alone. There are other things that can contribute to being overweight. For example, hormones. Hormones can be out of whack, and that can cause you to be overweight. There are so many things that contribute to that. But your diabetic person that they're talking about that's obese, the type 2 diabetes, do we know what type 2 diabetes is? That's adult onset diabetes. And very often that is related to your diet, your lifestyle, very often. So if they address that, if they address the lifestyle and eat more fruits and vegetables, 9 times out of 10, it will affect the weight as well too.
Except tell them that.
He has a problem telling that. One person at the back there. All right, so Miss Maria is working for her money today, right, Maria?
Should a person have fruits and vegetables at the same meal?
And I know that question was going to come up. You know what? I would say no, because, and when I say no, you can have it on the table together. But I don't put fruits and vegetables together on my plate and eat them at the same time. And the reason I don't do that is because I have learned that the enzymes in fruits are a little different from the enzymes in the vegetables. And your digestive juices are produced for, if your food is not properly digested, you might as well not have eaten it. And sometimes that's some of the challenges I have. And I don't know definitively that you shouldn't, but I'm saying as a practice, I don't, because I know that the enzymes are different. And so that's why I don't do that. Yes?
Yes, fruits digest.
That's right. Fruits.
Therefore, when they digest,
Just give her the mic. Start from the beginning again.
And
start and say.
Ellen White says we should not eat fruits and vegetables together.
I know yes. That. So but say what you said first, because nobody else heard you.
Okay. Fruits digest much quicker than your vegetables and your starches and all like that. And when you eat them together, then the fruit is digested and it sort of slows or leaves the rest of the food half digested, and so it's not good. And Ellen White explains it quite a bit.
Right.
Why we shouldn't eat fruits and vegetables together.
So
the best thing is to eat your vegetables by itself.
Right.
I eat my vegetables for lunch. Mm-hmm. And then I can mix up my vegetable. I eat my fruits for lunch and my vegetables
for supper.
My other meals.
Okay. Thank you. There's a hand at the back there.
Fruits are the healers, and vegetables are the builders.
Kind of, yes. Proteins are your builders to a large extent. Are high in protein content. Yes, that's true. So your builders and your healers. I would recommend that you put that. Don't put your fruits and your vegetables together. You know why too? And Ellen White does say it for real. It creates. Have you ever had a meal and when you're done, you're repeating what you just ate because you had too many varieties? You see, everything that you eat, your body has to produce a chemical for digesting it. And digesting means breaking it down. And if you have too many varieties, then it has to be producing hydrochloric acid, peptic acid. It has to be producing all this stuff. And the combination of all these digestive juices can cause the food itself to be soured in your stomach. So you're better off not putting all these things together in the same meal. Yes?
One other question. They talk about tomato, lycopene, and prostate cancer. Does it really work?
I don't know. But I've read that it does. I've never heard anyone say I ate a whole lot of tomatoes and so my prostate cancer. I have not read that. But what I have read is that the lycopene in tomatoes is very good for prostate. I've read that it's good for it. But I haven't seen any studies myself that confirms it. That's what I'm saying. But it sounds good to me. I mean, God made all these things and they're meant to heal our bodies. I suspect you're probably right. One more question.
Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I have two problems.
With my slide?
No.
Okay.
In my lifestyle.
Okay.
In the morning.
If that's a lifestyle question, can we wait till we go through this and then we come back? Can you keep your question until after?
Well,
or you want to say it now?
I'm
not shutting you down. Go ahead.
We were talking about mixing.
Okay.
In the morning, I usually have cereal for breakfast.
Yes.
And but almost every morning I have a ripe banana. And I cut up that ripe banana and put it in my cereal.
Okay.
And have that for breakfast with some non-dairy milk.
Okay.
And so on. And I'm wondering if that's a mistake.
I don't see the mistake right now. I'm not seeing a mistake with that, no.
Mistake, I mean, okay.
Because the milk is non-dairy, I'm assuming it's going to be a nut milk.
Yeah.
So that's fine. Your nuts can go with your fruits. Nuts can also go with your vegetables. So that's fine. You should be fine.
Okay. And,
all right.
And the bottom line now is for my dinner, you know, I usually have something like a mango for my dessert.
Okay. That's after you've had your vegetables?
Yes. After, and all of that is gone. No.
So you put some space between the two things?
Just.
Time.
Not too much.
Okay.
But it's you know, like my regular dessert.
Okay.
And that's my concern.
Okay.
You know.
Well, here's my suggestion. When you eat your dinner, I'm assuming you have vegetables on your plate, but you love the mango, and so you always want to have the mango as your dessert. My suggestion is give your stomach a chance to digest those vegetables, and vegetables don't take a long time to be digested. Vegetables normally, they digest within an hour, hour and a half. They're digested. Doesn't take a long time. Give yourself about an hour and a half to go have your wonderful mango. Does that make sense? Good. All right, so I'm going to move on. So here is something that's very critical for us to look at as diabetics. Servings of fruits. How much serving should I have of fruits? Because fruits are the ones that are the problems for diabetics. Am I correct? Because people say the fruits have so much sugar in them, I can't eat them. I was talking with a lady just yesterday, and she's a diabetic, and she was having a plate of food, and all she had on her plate was macaroni cheese. And I said, we should have had something with this macaroni and cheese, maybe some vegetables or some fruits or something. And she said, fruits? I don't eat fruits. And I said, why don't you eat fruits? She says, well, I'm diabetic. My doctor says I shouldn't eat any fruits. And I'm like, do you know that you're doing your body more harm with this plate of just macaroni and cheese than you would do to your body if you had a piece of fruit? Did you know that? We are quick to eat that mac and cheese, but we are slow to eat the fruits and the vegetables. The mac and cheese does more harm to your body, and especially if you're using the macaroni that's made from refined flour. If you have a whole grain mac, you stand a better chance, a whole grain macaroni. So we should have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily. As diabetics and as everybody, we should have 5 servings, right? So now the question is, what is a serving? A serving is a medium-sized fruit, or serving the size of a baseball, okay? So half a cup of smaller fruits, such as berries, equals a serving size. So if you're going to have 5 servings of fruits and vegetables daily, this is a mixture. So maybe you have 3 servings of fruits and 2 servings of vegetables, or you might want to do the other way, do 2 servings of fruits and 3 of vegetables. You want total to have 5 servings. And this will help you to understand. A medium-sized fruit is 1 serving, or the size of a baseball. But if you have smaller fruits like berries, like your strawberries, your raspberries, you want to put ½ a cup, and that will be equal to a serving size. Does that help you? Does that help anyone? Okay, now look at this. ½ a cup of processed fruits, such as applesauce, equals a serving size. And ½ a cup of fruit juice. How many people drink ½ a cup of fruit juice? Not me. I normally drink a whole cup. But your ½ a cup is your serving. ½ a cup of fruit juice, which is half of an 8-ounce drinking glass, equals a serving size. And then we do the dried fruits. And there you do 2 tablespoons of dried fruits, such as raisins, equals a serving size. So for diabetics, you want to balance it out. You want to balance it. Does that answer the question you had before? Okay. All right. So let's go to the next slide. We're almost done. So both fruits and vegetables are loaded with vitamins, minerals, and fiber that are good for managing your blood sugar level. And I got that from the American Diabetes Association. That's where I got that one from. So here are some fruits that are good for diabetics. Fruits that are good for diabetics: your kiwi, pears, apricot, apples, peaches, starfruit, and your berries. And here are some vegetables that are good for diabetics. What do you see in that? What do you see there? You see the red peppers, the bell peppers, your broccoli, cauliflower. What are these? Turnips. You see that? Tomatoes. That's a red onion right there. These are little tomatoes here too. Those are those little cherry tomatoes. What are these? Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts. Very good for diabetics. See that? So you have a mixture of the greens, the purples, and the yellows. You have all of them here mixed up. So these are good for diabetics. Okay. And now we are going to ask you that question. What about fruit and vegetable glycemic index? What about that? And I thought I would help you to understand that, because you hear that, your GI, the glycemic index. And that's important in determining what you're going to eat. So your glycemic index refers to the ranking of foods on a scale of 1 to 100, depending on how quickly they raise your blood sugar level. Your high GI foods are absorbed faster than medium or low GI foods. And most fruits are your high GI items. Starchy vegetables such as potatoes and grains are more rapidly digested than fruits. Therefore, their GI is higher than fruits. Sorry, I said something wrong. Sorry. Most fruits have a low GI. What does GI mean? It means how fast does the thing get absorbed. And that's why when we eat the cookie, does it have a high or a low GI? High GI. It gets absorbed real quickly, gets processed real fast, because there's no fiber there to get. But you can get good cookies, you know that, right? Good cookies that you pack the fiber into it, right? But most fruits have a low GI, and your starchy vegetables such as potatoes and grains, they are more rapidly digested than fruits, so their GI is higher. So which one you think will get digested in you faster, the fruits or the starchy vegetables? Which gets digested faster?
So eating mashed potatoes puts you in more trouble than eating a whole banana.
That's right. Eating your mashed potatoes could put you in some trouble, so you need to watch that. Okay? Okay, so high carbohydrate foods should be chosen based on their GI levels. So now I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Here are your low GI, some of them, not all, but here are some low GI fruits. Your apples, avocados, bananas, berries. These are the ones that will take a while to be digested. These are low GI. See that? Kiwi fruits, plums, strawberries, peaches, pears. Now look at this one. Your medium GI, honeydew melons, figs, papayas, pineapples. And the high GI ones are your dates and watermelon. Those take a longer, they're rapidly digested. So these are the medium and high GI fruits. So let's hear the conclusion. Whatever you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do it all for the glory of God. That's my presentation for today. I hope I was able to help someone. I hope you learned something from it, and thank you for being a wonderful audience. Are there any more questions? Yes. Miss Maria?
Were leafy greens part of God's original plan?
Leafy greens?
Such as kale and lettuce? And
yes. Yes. Your leafy greens. Yes.
I'm talking about Genesis 1:29.
Let me go back to that slide. I'm going to have to clip through to get back to that slide for you. That's a long ways to go. But I'm going to go back to that slide so you can see it. Okay, the analysis. Behold, I have given you every herb, a plant without a strong woody stem or trunk bearing seed, and is generally understood to mean your wheat, oats, corn, rice, rye, barley, millet. And your seeds, of course, you have the sunflower seeds and so on. Legumes, you have that. Other foods containing seed, some of which we call vegetables, such as your eggplants, bell peppers, so on, and squash. And every tree with that is plants with a strong woody stem, such as a shrub, a bush, or a tree. Your leafy vegetables, they tend to have that, it's not woody stems, but they are, it's more, they have a trunk. So I believe that they were a part of that diet. See, we tend to think that we have to cook some of those leafy vegetables, but you don't have to cook all of them. You can chop them up, you can grind them, and you can use them in different things raw.
So you're saying that would be a herb?
I'm saying it would be, some of them are herbs, yes. Let me hear the specific ones you have in mind. Which ones you have in mind?
Leafy greens like kale,
lettuce,
cabbage.
Right. And those leafy greens, they don't, they fall, yes, they would fall, other foods containing seeds, some of which, because you have they have seeds. For example, lettuce, they do have seeds. So other foods containing seeds, some of which we call vegetables today, like your eggplant grows on a vine, on a kind of tree, like on a stalk, right? I said vine, I meant stalk, on a stalk. So some of your leafy vegetables grow the same way, like I eat callaloo, and callaloo grows on a stalk. So it's like those. Okay?
The answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes.
Kale
yes.
was part of the original.
I think so. I agree. I am convinced so. I haven't seen it anywhere, but that's my own. So that's my opinion right now. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'll make an observation on nuts.
Uh-huh.
Whatever book I was reading from that doctor from Oklahoma, I normally eat almonds, walnuts, and pecans because he made the comment that it should be a 2-to-1 ratio or above and I don't know which ones. One was 7 to 1, one's 2 to 1, one was 3 to 1 of those three. Cashews does not even have a 1-to-1 ratio of fat content, and so I personally stay away totally from cashews because of that, and live every day on the almonds, pecans, and walnuts.
And your almonds are the best. The almonds are the best.
The only problem I run into is the almonds I ended up having to have a lot of teeth issues because they were cracking my teeth.
Oh, wow.
So now I have to crush the almonds.
Well, that's good. You found a way around it.
Oh, yeah.
And don't do too many almonds either. When you do your almonds, if you do too much, you'll pack your system with too much oxalic acid, because that's what you get from almonds as a side effect. And so you want to do your almonds, you want to be moderate. But again, we come to that word, moderation, right? So take your almonds in moderation. So don't do more than 7 to 10 almonds. Don't do more than that. No, you're crushing. Crush 7 to 10. Crush about 7 or 10 for every time you do it.
I just do the whole bag.
Okay.
And then I just do a spoon.
A spoon.
Not even a spoonful
on your food. You should be fine. Almond milk is very good for you. Yes. Anything else? Just don't overdo things, that's all. Any other questions? Thank you. You have been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot, and I'm sure that everyone here has. Now let's all thank God for His wonderful grace and how He made all of these foods in such beautiful and nutritious packages. Father in heaven, we thank You for Your love and mercy and for providing us with the very best of food that's all about us. Help us to make good decisions in the foods that we eat, and that we might be more healthy and live without disease. And thank You for sending Dr. Barrett here to speak with us today. In Jesus' name, amen.